In the early hours of a quiet Middle Eastern night, missiles streak across the sky. Within minutes, oil prices spike, global markets tremble, and world leaders rush into emergency meetings. What began as a regional confrontation between Iran and Israel now threatens to shake the very foundations of the global economy. Because this conflict isn't just about territory, it's about energy, power, and the balance of the entire world order. To understand why this conflict matters, we need to go back decades. Iran and Israel have been locked in a shadow war for years, marked by cyber attacks, assassinations, and proxy battles. Israel views Iran's nuclear ambitions as an existential threat. Iran sees Israel as the forward military outpost of the United States. The United States has long been Israel's strongest ally, providing military aid, intelligence support, and diplomatic protection. Iran is not alone, with a network of regional allies and militias stretching from Lebanon to Iraq and Yemen, which means any direct conflict between Iran and Israel risks igniting a much larger war. But the real reason the world is watching lies in a narrow strip of water just 21 miles wide, the Strait of Hormuz. Nearly 1/5 of the world's oil supply passes through this tiny choke point every single day. If conflict escalates, Iran could disrupt or even block this route and trigger an immediate global energy crisis. Oil tankers stop, energy prices surge, and inflation explodes worldwide. Because in today's interconnected economy, a war in one region can ripple through every market on Earth. Financial markets react to geopolitical tension instantly, with oil prices often the first to surge. And when oil rises, everything becomes more expensive: transport, manufacturing, electricity, and food. Investors then rush towards so-called safe haven assets, with gold and government bonds rising while riskier assets fall. Shipping companies face soaring insurance costs as the Persian Gulf becomes a high-risk war zone. The result is global supply chains slowing down and economic consequences spreading far beyond the battlefield. The consequences of this conflict stretch far beyond the Middle East because the world's largest economies are tied to the region's energy and trade routes. China, the world's largest energy importer, relies heavily on Middle Eastern oil to power its massive industrial economy. India imports over 80% of its oil, so rising energy prices directly affect its economic stability. For Moscow, instability in the Middle East can be strategically useful as higher oil prices increase Russian energy revenues. In a world defined by strategic competition, every crisis becomes an opportunity for someone. For the Gulf states, this conflict presents a dangerous balancing act for countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar.